Phil Daly is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
He is Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department, joining us to provide information and some speculation about the Minnesota Vikings. We promised on the Tuesday episode that we would take our little snippet of Jordan Addison conversation and do more of the state of Jordan Addison in general, long-form discussion here. So we will have a Jordan Addison discussion, as we promised here, after we shout out Awaken 180. How you feeling, Dukes?
I'm feeling great, Phil. Hey, the Vikings are on a bye week, but there is no bye week when it comes to my Awaken 180 weight loss plan. The website is awaken180weightloss.com. I am down 16 and a half pounds. This is my 5th week on the program. Gradual progress. That's what I was seeking. It's not like I thought there was some sort of quick fix. You eat to lose weight. You're educated on what to eat, when to eat, how to eat. More importantly for me, it's about sustaining energy. I really wanted to watch the entire Phillies-Dodgers game last night, not fall asleep in the lazy boy at 9:45. Mission accomplished. I have that much more energy. One-on-one basketball with the boys, throwing batting practice to the boys. I have more energy now than I had going back many weeks. There's no calorie counting. Exercise is not necessary. There's no medication. They teach you what you need to eat. You eat normal foods. Heck, had a great dinner last night, right? Chicken, steak, veggies, right? But it's just about how much to eat, when to eat, why to eat, all that stuff. They are so good at educating you. I promise, if I can do it, you can too. When thinking about maybe looking good for the holidays coming up, or even long term, thinking about the next 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, right? I'm thinking about all of that. And Awaken 180 Weight Loss is pushing me in the right direction. The website, awaken180weightloss.com. Again, awaken180weightloss.com. Schedule your free consultation.
So I'll just throw a general question to the group here, and we can get into the weeds on Jordan Addison. But how much do you trust him in a Minnesota Vikings uniform, short term and long term? Three just for the audience to add these up here. The first incident a few years ago was driving 140 miles an hour on a freeway, and then he was a year later charged with a DUI in California. Eventually pleaded it down to a wet reckless charge, still enough to get suspended 3 games by the NFL. And then went missing in London and missed a practice. He has 2 years left on his rookie scale contract. So how do you view Jordan Addison trustworthiness as a player as well as a Minnesota Viking with 2.5 years left on his contract?
All right, well, in this moment, Phil, how could you say that you trust him? When he goes missing, when the walkthrough in London is literally in the backyard of where they are staying, and he was nowhere to be found, how can you trust him? So to me, in many ways, that is strike 3, right? Yeah, he wasn't arrested in 2023 for driving 140 miles per hour here in the metro area. But that to me is a strike. Then, yeah, arrested for DUI. Yeah, pleaded down, no contest. But the idea was arrested driving under the influence in Southern California. Now, okay, not anything to do with law and enforcement, but team-wise. Like, they didn't know where he was for a stretch. So you can't say he can be trusted. But I still think the idea is you want him here long-term.
Yeah.
The earliest any sort of contract extension would be agreed to me, would be right at the start of training camp next late July, or maybe more like the eve of the opening game, comparable to Jameson Williams signing his contract extension with the Lions. So Jameson Williams, 2022 draft, signs an extension with the Lions last month. Okay, Jordan Addison, 2023 draft. To me, the earliest is what? 11 months from now. So what happens between now and 11 months from now? And it's not like you need to do the contract in 11 months. I'm just saying, to me, that's probably about the earliest You would do it. So, yeah, okay, he's got 3 strikes, but it's not 3 strikes and you're out. And so how does the next year or so go? I can't foresee. I don't know. But in this moment, Judd, I just don't know how you can say, yeah, we trust that guy.
I think you have to be prepared. So the 5th-year option can be picked up, I believe it will be in May of 2026, so this coming May. And I don't know how you don't shop him starting in March, because the reality is this. Okay, strike 1, strike 2. Strike 2 was bad, but all through training camp, we were told, yes, he's going to get suspended, but strike 2 still a year ago, and he's been talked to, and he has been, Justin Jefferson's influencing him. Okay, that's all great. He gets suspended for 3 games, comes back for 1 game, and then before the next game goes missing. They can't find him. And it's not like he literally had just been suspended. I don't know how you don't, unfortunately, see this ending well. And so, I mean, if I'm a team, I would rather get out from under how this might end before it does end. These things are all, and it feels like they're growing, right? Like, how do you leave the team in London when you've just returned from being suspended? So I think it would be irresponsible not to shop him, because if you can't get it right from playing alongside and lockering near Justin Jefferson, I've got no hope for you. I think the suspension and the wet reckless driving gave him a chance to prove, hey, I've grown up. I get it now. That was really, really stupid. Justin has said time and time again, he's talked to him. He's tried to influence him. But then to have that happen, I don't know what's wrong here. I hope nothing is really wrong. But if I'm a team, I can't afford to even consider paying, and I don't even know that I want a guy around who, to your point, I can't trust. And I'm pretty convinced now you will never be able to trust him while he's in his prime. So I'm probably done.
Quite there yet, maybe. I get it. The evidence suggests that, Judd. I'm not quite there. Can Les Pico, can some others over at TCO Performance Center,
they've tried,
continue to work with him? The talent is undeniable. He is so freaking good.
Yeah.
He is by far. When we go through the 4 Kwesi Adofo-Mensah draft classes, to me, it's not even close. Maybe eventually it's Donovan Jackson or Dallas Turner or someone else. But to me, right now, it's a blowout. By far. Of what, 23 draft picks? I believe it's 23 over 4 years. It's not even close who the best is, talent-wise. I don't think that's even up for debate. That's a fact. Jordan Addison is the ultimate hit so far through 4 draft classes for this front office. So the idea is you want to keep a guy like that. I'm not shopping him next March. Oh, by the way, if you do decide to shop him, what exactly are you getting right now for Jordan Addison?
That's a fair question.
The compensation is not matching the talent. And so I'm not punting on him for a middle round draft pick.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, what does the receiver room look like next year? Jalen Naylor, free agent. Ty Felton, we think has a chance, but he has shown 0 so far. Special teams, yes, but receiving-wise, nothing. You look at the TJ Hawkinson contract for next year. He certainly isn't playing next year under the terms of that deal. Maybe he's here, but he's going to have to renegotiate. But we don't know. That's a question mark. So outside of Justin Jefferson, what exactly does that room look like? I'm not there yet on right now. Next March, you have to shop Jordan Addison.
I'm a little closer to Judd on this, although where I side with Doogie is you do get the rest of the season to build back some goodwill and put up some numbers because this would not be a discussion until March. This would not be like a pre-trade deadline discussion. So, okay, stop disappearing. Don't get arrested. Put up some big numbers. Rebuild your stock and your trust from wherever it is right now back up to a certain point, and then we can talk about what the value is. But I want to come at this from a different angle even. There's the trust factor, and it bothers the hell out of me that his behavior and personal choices have impacted all of his coworkers, teammates, coaches for a 3-game suspension. And I think the team had no choice. You have to punish a guy for going AWOL and missing practice in a foreign country especially. So he's been unavailable for the majority of the season so far. And it's all 100% self-inflicted. And I think like that bothers me if I'm a coach, as a teammate, etc. But even if you take that and put it aside for a second, here are in 2025 the NFL teams spending the most money on wide receivers. And if you were to give him a big contract in 2 or 3 years, that thing would start to kick in, and it would be, presuming that he builds his value back up a little bit, like that contract would be in line with other top receivers who are getting 10 to 14% of the cap. It'd be like a $40 million, $45 million a year contract in like 3 years. But the teams spending the most on receivers are the Bengals, the Titans, the Dolphins, the Bears, and the Bucks. It's working out for the Bucks. They have a loaded receiver room. They have a first-round pick and 2 highly paid guys and Baker Mayfield, and it is working for the Bucks. But those other teams, it's like the Bengals, all right, we're going to pay all this money to like 4 players, including 2 wide receivers, and the minute our quarterback goes down, our roster is a house of cards. The Dolphins, kind of the same thing. The Titans, I guess it remains to be seen. They're in rebuild mode. But I would be nervous already having Justin Jefferson. I'm not nervous about that because he's awesome. I'd be nervous just putting too much money on that position in a salary cap league, independent of the other stuff.
Fair. That's where the brilliance of Rob Brzezinski would need to kick in.
Yeah.
Now my blowback is, okay, Joe Burrow, I get it, right? Like tier 1, there's only a few quarterbacks in tier 1, right? But it works in Cincinnati. To me, it does. It absolutely does. Mainly because you have perhaps the second best, third best quarterback in the game, but it works. What about Detroit? So they give Jameson Williams the contract. St. Brown, what does that look like? What about Philadelphia? A.J. Brown making good money.
They're in the top 10.
Eventually will make really good money, right?
Yeah. Those teams have also done a much better job drafting and filling in cheaper, younger pieces than the Vikings have. If the Vikings 100%. Have been better at drafting and you got like 5 extra players on rookie scale contracts that are starters, you'd be like, oh, we got this money to spend. Let's, instead of spending it on, Javon Hargrave, we can spend it on an internal extension guy, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I don't have a comeback to that. Yes, I mean, for sure, right? It's not even close. Can you structure the contract? I don't have all the details of the Jameson Williams deal in front of me, but I did jot down 3 for 80, 66.5 guaranteed. But if you look at the structure on over the cap, it looks like a team-friendly deal for the Lions. Is there a way to structure an Addison extension comparable to the Jameson Williams deal?
So it's a little under like full market value if he were to be, bid on by a bunch of teams as a free agent, but it would give him some security to travel the world and do whatever he wants.
Though I don't know that he's going to get that though. Like if you go to him and say you have screwed up so much that we are going to discount you and you should take it, I think he's going to say, I could be, and he's not wrong about this. I have enough talent to be the number 1 receiver on a lot of teams. But let me throw this at you as far as the personality problems go or the off the field problems go. One is the Vikings, like it or not, under O'Connell, have done a marvelous job of creating what they consider to be a culture, which I think is really good. Like that locker room, Dukes, I don't know if you would agree with me completely, but when I've been in that locker room, that's a pretty good locker room. As far as the guys go, yeah. Justin is an unbelievable captain.
I'm in there a lot. It's a legit locker room.
So it's a legit locker room.
Down. Yeah.
So
Brian Awesome was as resident DJ, but yes, it's still a rock solid locker room.
It's a good room. And then the other problem that I see, to go back to what I said before, is one, this kid's had the chance to sit by Justin Jefferson now for year 3 or so. And Jefferson is such an outlier for his position because he is such a leader, such a good captain. He never complains. And I know for a fact that Justin Jefferson has had come to Jesus discussions with Jordan. And why? And how many guys like Jordan have we seen change? Like I go back to different guy, Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin never changed. He didn't want to change.
How about Jared Allen?
Jared Allen changed after he left.
Les Pico.
So he left.
The magic of Les Pico.
But I'm just saying, are you sure? Are you willing to put your eggs in that basket. And plus, if he screws up again with the new contract, what do you do then? It just seems to me to be a ticking time bomb. Like, there's enough now. I'm going with ticking time bomb.
All right, let's put the off the field stuff aside. Let's focus more on what Phil brought up. Does it make financial sense to invest tens of millions of dollars in a number 2 receiver? And if you're Jordan Addison, Judd, you hit on it briefly. He views himself as a number 1.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah,
and he's good enough to be a number 1 for most teams. So is he willing to put pen to paper on some sort of team-friendly deal to continue to be the number 2 receiver here?
No.
So while I'll continue to say that, especially before what took place in London, the Vikings were all about finding a way to keep Jordan Addison. By far, the best draft pick they've hit on. But if you're Addison, if you're his representation, does it make sense? There's a lot to unpack there. A lot of tentacles.
So
because I'm telling you, his camp, view him as an outright number 1. You look at the Garrett Wilson extension. So I look at that 2022 draft class. Drake London, Chris Olave, correct me if I'm wrong, they have not signed extensions, but Jamison Williams has. Garrett Wilson has. And you look at that Garrett Wilson contract, 30 and a half, 31, 32. He's like top 5 average per year. 4 years, 120, guaranteed money, somewhere in the ballpark of $90 million?
Yeah.
I think at least you shoot for that if you're the Addison camp 12 to 18 months from now. Like, you're thinking, if Garrett Wilson can get that, I'm as good as him. Or if I'm Addison's agent, I'm thinking I'm as good as Garrett Wilson. My client is as good as Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
My client is worth something like that. And so to me, that's where the money gets incredibly interesting.
And that's where, if I'm the Vikings front office and coaching staff, the minute that I get that type of pushback from Addison's camp, I say, you know what, you're right. Love you. You're a talented player, but you're right. You should go. And that brings us to the Doogie. You kind of asked a few minutes ago, what could you even get in a trade? I think right now, because he's coming off this thing in London and the team suspended him and he was suspended for the first 3 games, like, teams poking around on a trade right now would be looking to get him for 50 cents on the dollar because, hey, he's a risk. He's a flight risk. He might not even show up to practice, for God's sakes. Like, that is absolutely a thing behind the scenes. But once you put some space between the incidents and he builds up some more value and he has a nice season, get to the end of the season, I was curious. I went back like the last 8 years or so. Not 30-year-old receivers. I'm not interested in the trade comps for like 29, 30-year-olds. We're talking a 24, 25-year-old if he were to get traded in the next 18 months. Coming off a rookie scale contract, it's harder to find comps like that who are like top 20 receivers that young and then they get traded. But there's 3 that come to mind here in the last like 8 to 9 years. One of them very close to home. Stephon Diggs to the Bills in 2020. Little bit of a malcontent. He had that incident where he was fined $200,000 or whatever for skipping a practice, and there was just some noise and some buzz. He was 26 years old, set for a big contract. So the Vikings decided, and a lot of people and fans hated it at the time because why would you trade this stud receiver for a draft pick? How could you? Well, the Vikings get a first-round pick and a handful of day 3 picks. They land Justin Jefferson to replace Stephon Diggs, so they actually got better at receiver and didn't have to pay the contract for like 4 more years. So they got way cheaper at the position, and they got better. 2 other examples.
Baby. He wasn't a complete bust.
No. Amari Cooper was traded by the Raiders to the Cowboys in 2018. Cooper was 24 years old. Raiders got a first-round pick. And then Brandon Cooks had 3 good years with the Saints, was traded to the Patriots in 2017 at age 24 for a first-round pick. So there are several examples of, for a 24-year-old, top 20-ish wide receiver, first-round pick and change as compensation in these similar deals. So would you do that? And then you wouldn't have to pay the $40 million a year Maybe you draft a receiver. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you find one through some other avenue in the next 2 years.
Well, you know what? If you're telling me right now that he is a perfect citizen, which is entirely possible for the next 9 to 11 months or 8 months, we get into March, perhaps early to mid-April, and you can get a first-round pick, okay, that to me changes the dynamic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's realistic. That a team is willing to offer up a 1, then pay him because you're paying him, right? That's part of the agreement, I would imagine. Like, you're not making that move, then down the road engaging in a negotiation with his camp. So to me, that would be happening just about simultaneously. So you mean to tell me some team's willing to offer up a 1, then something in the ballpark of that Garrett Wilson contract? I have a hard time believing that.
So, speaking of that, back in 2013, Percy Harvin was traded to the Seahawks at the age of 24 as a known malcontent for a first and a third. And in March, if I could get a first and third, I would take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So
that's
like,
fine. Yes, I'm on board. I think we agree. Yes, if you can get a 1, just a 1, I don't even need a 3. 3, fine. But if I can just get a 1 for Addison in March, done deal. Fine.
But Dukes, what you have to exploit here, because it's an epidemic throughout this league, is I can fix him. So like with Percy, Seattle's like, we can fix him. He has had problems there, but not with us. Well, of course, in retrospect, that was wrong. But, like with Jordan, yes, right now, if you took him to market, you wouldn't get a ton back, and you're not going to, and I'm not advocating that. But by March, if he has kept his nose clean, or just as importantly, nothing has gotten out, I think that you will get teams who say, this kid can be our clear-cut 1. He's never going to be that with Justin Jefferson ahead of him in Minnesota. And second of all, we'll fix him. Like, that's the thing I think in sports and football especially, that you can exploit, is the hubris of other teams to think our culture won't allow what your culture allowed.
I just don't know if you're getting a 1. And I wouldn't be shocked
I think you'd
if he's a model citizen from now until mid-March, that there's nothing else, or at least anything that leaks. So I get it. Time heals a lot of wounds. If we can fast forward 6-7 months, how much are we alluding back to everything that just took place in London? Maybe a little bit, but not a ton. I have a hard time believing a team is offering a 1. But if they do,
I think I get a 1.
I think you have to do it.
I
think the Vikings probably would. I mean, that's me completely opining. I have no inside knowledge on that. I would think in that moment, based on the commitment to Jefferson and looking at the mechanics of the salary cap and how much do you want to invest in the receiver position, independent of the off the field stuff, that if you're getting a 1, just reset. Use that 1 on a different receiver, reset things, get a first round pick on a rookie contract.
Here's the other thing that I think is very plausible as well, because he has tried to work so hard with Jordan. I think you could very much involve Justin here to like bounce the idea off him, because Justin is a no BS guy. I think he wants a win. He's dedicated as hell. He is a captain. He knows, and I think takes a lot of pride in sort of the pulse of the locker room, Dukes. So I would not be adverse to O'Connell and Kwesi calling him in and saying, okay, you've sat down with this kid. And it does sound like, again, after what happened over the weekend, that Justin like privately laid into Jordan, which he should have done. But I would trust him as a leader, as a veteran, also to say, do you think this is fixable by now? And if he's like, I've tried, like that would give you, I wouldn't trust a lot of players with that question, guys. I think I would trust Justin with that question.
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely would. Now, there is some get it there from Addison. Like, I harken back to mid-July at Woodbury High School. The Vikings reached out to Jordan, can you be here? Not able to drive. I don't know what his driving situation is today, but in mid-July, he
it hasn't been good for a
able
while
to drive.
Yeah.
And so he was able to arrange a ride, was dropped off at Woodbury High School, went through a workout with McCarthy, Jefferson, and company. Then after, he's just sitting outside on the curb waiting for his ride to pick him up. So our guys that were there are walking out. Now, I don't know, like, where Jefferson was going. He had some family with him, or where TJ Hawkinson was going, but Addison couldn't get a ride from one of those guys. So he's waiting for the ride that he arranged, just sitting there on the curb in the parking lot of Woodbury High School, right? So that took some dedication, knowing that he couldn't drive himself, doesn't have the ability, right? But still found a way to get to the East Metro to go through that workout. So that tells me there's something there in his brain that clicks, that he's not a complete moron, right? So maybe I'm giving him too much the benefit of the doubt. Or maybe I'm just blinded somewhat by how freaking talented he is.
Man, what was...
Because let's talk about top 20 receiver. I think I can make a case. I don't have all the numbers in front of me. And, hey, semantics. Like, I'm not suggesting he's top 5. But, like, is he top 15? Top 12?
Yeah.
Like, I think he's that... I really do. I think he's that good.
Dude, and what's crazy is... One more thing, and then we'll get to some other items here in Doogie's bag. But in terms of guaranteed money for receivers, this is like if you're his agent or someone close to him, or hell, if you're Jefferson, you say, listen, dude, because Jefferson landed $110 million guaranteed contract, 89 fully guaranteed. Say, dude, I'm telling you, if you just lay low, work your ass off, prioritize football, show up to all the practices, play really well, if you're going to drink, okay, but like definitely get a ride. But ideally, you know what? Don't even really drink. You're a professional athlete. You can drink when you're 40 if you want to. If you do these things, here are the total guaranteeds on the 10 highest paid receivers in the league. 110 million, 110 million, 100, 90, 84, 82, 80, 70. Do you want to make $77 to $100 million stone cold guaranteed, Jordan? Just lay low, dude. Like it's kind of, and we sit here and we're on the outside. We're not. I can hear people screaming. Well, you guys were probably idiots when you were 21 and 23. And yes,
absolutely.
100%, totally an idiot. Yes, but it is wild that you have this once in a lifetime chance to maximize a potentially short career and make a ton of money. And you're bopping around London, skipping a practice, and you're driving drunk on the it's just too bad, and it would be disappointing for those around him and Kevin O'Connell, and you can tell Justin Jefferson too. So yeah, Jordan's got to get it together, man.
Yeah, I mean, and heck, do whatever the heck you want to do, but just in the privacy of your own house, right? Like whatever you want to do, just do it at home. Yeah, don't get behind the wheel of a car. It's not that tough. And I do think what took place in Southern California, July of 2024, I'd like to think, okay, lesson learned. Thankfully, nobody was injured. Lesson absolutely learned. Like, I feel confident that that's not going to happen again. Even though, Judd, you say, hey, there's a lot of people that just can't be fixed. I think in that specific case, like, I'll be shocked over the next 5 to 10 years if we hear of Jordan Addison driving while intoxicated.
Yeah. It might be a little bit of a weird segue, but I'm not a 23-year-old athlete who's trying to get a $100 million contract. I'm a 40-year-old who enjoys once in a while sipping on some Pendleton whiskey when the game is on here. Look at this glorious. Let me turn it this way here so you guys can see this beautiful.
I love that. Oh yeah.
2025 Vikings limited edition 10-year stadium anniversary Pendleton whiskey, and Pendleton. Man, it is a fantastic brand. It is a fantastic pour. Once in a while, old Macadac on a Friday night, maybe a Saturday night, we'll put a couple ice cubes in a small glass. In Minnesota, nothing's given. Not the yards, not the wins, not the respect. You earn it. And it's the same spirit behind Pendleton whiskey, crafted with grit and bottled for those who fight hard for their rewards. Smooth enough to sip after a win, bold enough to remind you of the work it took to get there. Pendleton whiskey, it's not just poured, it's earned. At 2025 Pendleton Distillers, ProximoSpirits.com. Please drink responsibly. Also a shout out to Running Aces, really fun spot just up 35 north edge of the Twin Cities that I used to play so much poker there. And I haven't played poker in quite some time. It used to be a huge part of my life. I'm excited to go back soon and play maybe a tournament or some spread limit. at Running Aces. But we had a great Purple Daily Unplugged event there about a month and a half ago. This is not your typical casino scene. They've got a beautiful 53-foot LED wall that you can watch sports on, the biggest in the state of Minnesota. They've got blackjack. They've got poker. Bingo is back. Trivia 2 nights a week. And coming up here later on in October 25th, stand-up comedy shows are back at Running Aces. So bring your friends. Have a fun night, date night at Running Aces. Find out more at runaces.com. That's runaces.com. And then one more reminder about these Pepsi cups that have the Justin Jefferson stamp of approval on them. You can get these Justin Jefferson souvenir cups inside a local Buffalo Wild Wings near you. All across the Twin Cities now, these Justin Jefferson Pepsi cups are at Buffalo Wild Wings. So stop in, grab one, put some Pepsi in it, scan the QR code, and enter to win Victor's Ride, a glorious Polaris 1000 ATV, which he'll just drive it right up to your house if you win it in his little Zubas, old Victor, while he's having great conversations with Judd in the elevators. So Justin Jefferson on these Pepsi souvenir cups, get him inside Buffalo Wild Wings, and enter to win Victor's Ride. So shout out to B-Dubs for jumping on board here as well with the Pepsi cups and Purple Daily. So yeah, Dukes, what else you got in your bag here today?
Yeah, because I think somebody from the news department needs to get into our one Zoom room. Why we have just one Zoom room in this palatial building is beyond me, but that's a different conversation. So I checked. Like, I thought going back a few weeks and months, the Vikings would have trade interest in Greg Newsome of the Browns, who was moved last night to Jacksonville. Now, that was an interesting trade. Jacksonville sending a young corner to Cleveland, Cleveland sending its young corner to Jacksonville. But bottom line, in terms of this conversation, this audience, the Vikings did not engage Cleveland in any trade dialogue on Greg Newsome. So I thought they might, but checking this morning, the answer is no. The Vikings were never involved in Greg Newsome trade talks. On J.J. McCarthy, my understanding is continuing to progress. I think at some point, whether it's next Wednesday or Thursday or both, he is going to be a full participant in practice. But today, October 9th, the Vikings do not know who their starting quarterback is going to be 10 days from now, October 19th, against the Eagles. So I don't know. Yes, I opined on Tuesday I could see it being Carson Wentz, but maybe J.J. McCarthy shows that the high ankle sprain is fully healed, that he's able to move like he needs to move, throw on the run, all that. That evaluation process will continue. This is a legit injury. I was asked again on social media last night, hey, is this some sort of soft benching? No! For the 19th millionth time. No! It's a legit high ankle sprain. It takes some time. Yeah, do I think weeks ago the target was the Eagles game? Yes, but we still need to see. So I'd love to tell you the answer, especially here on Reckless Speculation Thursday, that I know for sure, but I just don't know. But I do expect McCarthy to be a full participant at least one, if not multiple days next week. One other Vikings note, they will have scouting representation at Huntington Bank Stadium on Saturday for the Gophers and Purdue game, as will the Washington Commanders and Tennessee Titans.
All right. Wow. Darren Doogie Wolfson. Good stuff, man. We'll catch up with you after the bye week on Tuesday here on Purple
Sounds good,
Daily,
boys.
Dukes.
Love you. Take it easy.
All right. Love you too,
Happy Reckless
Dukes.
Speculation
Darren.
Thursday.
Love
See
all
ya.
around,
Wolfson.
dudes. It's all love.
Always.
Right. We'll see you guys also for another episode of Purple Daily later on today on your feeds.